Imagine there are two paths in front of you. In the first, you will find a secret that can change the direction of your life, career and business forever, and in the second, you will find the same old things that you have heard countless times before. Now think, which path do you choose? If your answer is the first option, then you are among those few people who are ready to turn their dreams into reality. But there is a big question. You are working hard every day, but do you really know why you are doing all this? Are you really doing what gives you happiness and success, or are you just moving ahead as a part of the crowd without any deep understanding? Have you ever wondered why some people move ahead in every situation while others keep struggling throughout their lives? Do you think that success is achieved only by hard work, but still something is lacking? Do you want to understand how big companies, great leaders and innovators think differently from others? Now just think, what was so special about Steve Jobs, Wright brothers and the world's most influential leaders that made them different from others? Did they have any superpower? The secret tool is no. They had only one thing that set them apart from the crowd and gave them the power to change the world. Why means their purpose, their thinking, their vision. They never started their journey with how or what, but always with why, and this was their biggest strength. Now think what will happen if you also understand this secret. You will see a new direction in your life, career and business, where you will not only work hard but will do the work that fulfills you from within, which will become your identity. This idea was put in front of the world by Simon Sinek in his best-selling book Start With Why book. Sinek is a motivational speaker, business coach and leadership expert who proved in this book that successful people and companies first find their why, and then the rest of the things automatically become favorable to them. If you also want to learn this game-changing idea, then definitely watch this video till the end, because in this we have brought such a summary of this book which will shake your thinking and will force you to ask yourself this question: am I really moving in the right direction? If you also want to learn this game-changing idea, then watch this video till the end, because in this we have brought such a summary of this book which will shake your thinking and will force you to ask yourself, am I really moving in the right direction? If you are also trying to change your idea, then watch this video till the end, because in this we have brought such a summary of this book which will shake your thinking and will force you to ask yourself, am I really moving in the right direction? If you are also trying to change your idea, then watch this video till the end. If you want to take your brand or career to the next level, then this summary is for you. Chapter 1. Suppose you know when we fall prey to misconceptions. Most of us assume that we already know everything, but this thinking becomes our biggest weakness. The first lesson of Start With Why is that if we work on the basis of misconceptions, then it will be impossible to make the right decision. Simon Sinek explains that many companies and leaders believe that if they do market research, understand the needs of the customers and make good products, then success will be assured, but the truth is much deeper than this. We need not only what and how, but also why. Often companies assume that people make rational decisions. They buy products by looking at their features, price and quality, but in reality people make decisions emotionally and justify them through logic. For example, if only features and price made a difference, then the phone with the best specifications would have sold the most in the market, but still we get attached to the thinking. This is the mistake many companies make. They assume that customers, only rational thinkers assume that the quality of their product is everything, but they forget that unless people trust you, they will remain only customers and not followers, and this is the reason why some companies, no matter how much money they invest in innovation, are never able to build brand loyalty like L. The biggest lesson of this chapter is that to get the right answer, you must first learn to doubt your questions. Do not assume that you know everything. Rather start with why so that you can move in the right direction. Chapter 2: Carrots and Sticks. Why does the game of reward and punishment fail? Can people be motivated by giving rewards, carrots, and punishment, sticks? Simon Sinek says that this method works but only for short-term success, not for long-term motivation. In this chapter, he explains that most companies and leaders use these two methods to influence their employees and customers. Either they give attractive guarantees, discounts and bonuses, or they punish and put pressure on targets not being met. But this method is temporary and does not connect people deeply. If a company gives discounts repeatedly, then customers start waiting for discounts. The real value of the product gets reduced, and instead of trusting the brand, dependence on price increases. On the other hand, when employees are motivated to work only because of the fear of bonus or punishment, then they are unable to use their full creativity and their motivation is limited only to money. This problem is seen everywhere, whether it is a company, a school or the government, which resorts to fines or rewards to make people follow the rules. Sinek says that true motivation does not come from fear or greed but from a bigger purpose. For example, if a company focuses on its mission and vision instead of giving discounts repeatedly, then customers will buy from them by connecting with their vision and not just for the price. This is the reason why the company never gives discounts but people still line up to buy their products. Similarly, if a company makes its employees a part of a bigger mission instead of just money, then they will feel ownership and work from the heart instead of just doing a job. Therefore, if you want to motivate someone for a long time, then reward and punishment should be used. Think beyond the what, give them a purpose they feel connected to. Chapter 3: The Golden Circle. The magic of what Simon Sinek's The Golden Circle concept reveals the secret behind the world's most successful leaders and companies. It's a simple but profound framework that explains why some organizations and individuals make an extraordinary impact while others just don't. Sinek explains that most companies think from the outside in. They focus first on what, then how, and only occasionally on why. But truly inspiring leaders and brands do the exact opposite. They start with why, then how, and finally put what into practice. The golden circle has three main parts: the what, which describes what a company or person does; the how, which reflects the process or strategy they use to accomplish their what. But the third and most important part is the why, the real purpose of any organization or person, their beliefs and their purpose. Sinek says that great leaders and companies don't just tell people what they do, they also tell them how they do it. Explains why they do it and why people connect with them emotionally. For example, Apple is not just a tech company that makes computers and phones. Their reason is to think different, that is, they want to challenge the existing order in the world and bring new innovative solutions. Chapter 4. This is not opinion, this is biology, the science of the brain and decisions. Simon Sinek explains that the process of decision-making is not based on logic alone, but it is linked to the biology of our brain. Our brain is mainly divided into three parts: the neocortex, which does logic and analysis, and the limb brain, which controls emotions and beliefs. Interestingly, the real power of decision-making lies with the limb brain, but it does not have the ability to language. This is why people cannot be influenced by data and logic alone. When companies focus only on features and offers, they target the neocortex, which leads to short-term sales but does not build deep loyalty. In contrast, when a brand or leader connects with people's emotions and values, they stay connected with it for a long time. This is the reason companies like L sell not just a product but an ideology. Think different. We often feel something is right without reasoning and later look for logic to justify it. Great leaders understand this psychology and connect with people emotionally, making them part of a movement and not just customers. Chapter 1: Clarity, Discipline and Consistency. The three keys to success. Simon says that the success of any organization or individual does not depend on talent or resources alone but on three important pillars: clarity, discipline and consistency. The first pillar is clarity, which means that you must fully understand your why, your purpose. When you know why you are doing what you are doing, you not only move in the right direction but also connect others to your mission. It is very important for companies to clearly tell their customers and employees that they exist not just to make profits but for a larger purpose. The second pillar is discipline, which is related to the how you apply your values and principles. Just knowing the why is not enough, unless you are consistent with it in your actions and actions. Do not keep discipline in strategies. Discipline means that you stick to your principles no matter how difficult the situation is. This is the reason why great companies never compromise on their values, no matter how much pressure there is in the market. The third pillar is consistency, which is related to what? How many times and how accurately you repeat your actions and messages. When an organization maintains consistency in the message of its brand, service or product, people start trusting it. For example, Apple always talks about innovation and simplicity. Tesla always gives inspiring messages, and Tesla is always focused on sustainability. When people see the same clear message again and again, they start connecting with it and a strong brand loyalty develops. Says that only those people and organizations are able to achieve success who keep their why clear, implement the how in a disciplined manner, and convey the what with complete consistency. Chapter 6: The Emergence of Trust. How is trust created? Simon says that the biggest capital of any organization, leader or person is not money or resources but the trust of the people. When a company builds trust, people not only stand behind it but also become a part of its mission. Trust is not built by slogans, advertisements or promises but by consistently making the right decisions, showing integrity and caring about people. When people see that a leader or company is working not just for its own profit but for the welfare of its customers, employees and community, they connect with it deeply. Sinek says that trust develops when people feel that they are safe, they are being heard, and they are connected to a larger purpose. Successful organizations create an environment where people can share their ideas without fear, make mistakes, and depend on each other. Great companies do not see their employees as just a resource but care about their development and well-being. When an employee sees that his company values him not just for profit but as a human being, he also contributes wholeheartedly in his work. For example, Southwest Airlines gives priority to its employees, due to which they treat customers better, and in this way the company benefits in the long run. Similarly, when customers see that if a brand is committed to understanding and fulfilling their real needs rather than just making money, then they start trusting that brand. Sinek explains that trust is not an instant achievement but the result of continuous right decisions and actions. When a company or leader keeps its promises without compromising its values and principles, then gradually an environment is created where people not only trust it but also become ready to spread its message across the world. Chapter 7: How are tipping points? Tips: how the spark of change is spread. Simon Sinek explains that any big change starts from a small but effective group called tipping point. This is the moment when a product or movement gradually grows and suddenly starts spreading on a large scale. He explains that when a new innovation or idea comes, the first people to adopt it are innovators and early adopters. These are the people who are ready to take risks and have a keen interest in new ideas, but the real magic of any change begins when this idea reaches the early majority, i.e., when a large part of the society accepts it, for example apple fruit. Only then that change spreads on a large scale. For example, in the civil rights movement, Martin Luther King did not only talk about changes in the laws but also connected people with their deep values and emotions, due to which millions of people themselves became ready to be a part of this change. Sinek says that for the widespread adoption of any idea or movement, it is necessary that the leader first inspires those people who are willing to accept it voluntarily, because when these people adopt the change and feel its benefits, they themselves work to spread it further. This is the reason why companies should focus on their initial customers, because they later become brand ambassadors. This process is called Sinek law of diffusion of innovation, where a new idea or product first reaches a few % of people, then gradually a large group starts adopting it, and finally it becomes a standard in the society. This body of change does not burst suddenly, rather it is a systematic and natural process which gradually takes shape with the joining of the right people at the right time. Chapter 8 Start with why but know the how. Simon Sinek explains that just knowing the why is not enough, but implementing it in the right way is also equally important. Many people dream big and set great goals, but if they do not have a solid way to achieve that goal, i.e. the how, then they cannot succeed. The why, i.e. the purpose, motivates us, but the how, i.e. discipline, strategy and working continuously in the right direction leads us to that goal. Explaining this in detail, Sinek says that any organization or person who focuses only on its mission but does not develop the right system and processes to implement it, fails. For example, Apple was not limited to just giving a vision statement that they want to change the world, but they created a solid system to turn that vision into reality in each of their product design, marketing and customer experience. Similarly, Martin Luther King's "I Have a Dream" was not just a speech, but behind it were solid strategies and action plans of the civil rights movement which were working to bring his goal to the ground. He also explains that companies often focus on the why. Organizations that focus only on the how may be successful initially, but they cannot inspire people in the long term because they do not have a why that creates a deep emotional connection. Therefore, a true leader and visionary is one who first clarifies the why and then creates a path to its realization through the how. Without the why, the how becomes directionless, and without the how, the why remains only an unfulfilled dream. Chapter Know Why Know How Then What. Know the why, know how, then implement the why. Simon Sinek explains that when a person or organization identifies its why, i.e., the objective, and also understands the how, i.e., the strategy to implement it, the next important question is the what, i.e., what should we do now so that our objective becomes reality? Many companies and leaders are very clear about the why and the how, but when it comes to implementing it, they get lost. Synecdoche music, bringing innovation to the world and challenging the status quo is their how. Great design and using user-friendly technology, and their why is I in concrete actions like Satyagraha through which this mission was accomplished. To implement the why, it is necessary that our every step is connected to our why and how. Otherwise the organization becomes directionless and people start getting confused. Many times companies win the trust of customers by focusing on why in the beginning, but as they grow, their why starts getting different from their original purpose and they start running only towards profit, due to which customers and employees start moving away from them. This is the reason why many big companies fail after initial success. Sinek says that the organizations and people who keep their why in line with their why and how are not only successful but also leave a long-term impact. Therefore, if you want to realize any objective, then do not limit yourself to just thinking and making strategies, but convert it into the right why, i.e., concrete actions that reflect your mission and are in line with your values. Chapter 10 Communication is not about speaking, it is about listening. Communication is not in speaking, it is in listening. Simon Sinek. Communication is not in speaking, rather, it happens by listening, because only when we listen, we are able to understand the other person and build a deep relationship. Most people think that effective communication means speaking well, but if the person in front does not feel heard, then the communication remains incomplete. The biggest quality of great leaders, influential speakers and successful business leaders is that they listen to others carefully, understand their feelings and then put forward their point on that basis. Sinek explains that when a leader insists on saying only his point and ignores the concerns of employees or customers, then gradually the wall of trust between them starts falling. On the contrary, companies that listen carefully to the needs of their customers remain successful for a long time. Chapter 11 1 Why goes fuzzy. What to do when the why becomes fuzzy. When an organization, person or movement starts forgetting why it started, then its effect gradually starts decreasing. Simon Sinek explains that the most important element of the success of any company or leader is its why, i.e., its purpose, but as the organization grows, it often becomes blurred. Starts deviating from its original purpose. Initially, people join a mission because of a clear why, but with time, when the focus is only on profit, market share and growth, the why gradually becomes blurred and then people start getting emotionally disconnected. For example, many big companies which started with a strong why later forgot their real vision and started running only after commercial success, due to which their brand value and customer trust decreased. Sinek tells that Walmart, which started with a mission to serve people at affordable prices in its early days, after the departure of founder Sam Walton, gradually started focusing only on profits and started ignoring the real needs of employees and customers. As a result, the brand which was once in the hearts of the people gradually became a victim of criticism. This is the condition of many companies and leaders when they deviate from their why and start focusing only on how and what. Sinek also tells that when the why starts getting blurred, it becomes necessary to identify what was the sense of that purpose in the beginning and clarify it again. Why is it important? Many organizations wait till they are in complete decline, whereas the right way is to regulate